Good evening, Florida FBLA, and welcome to the first webinar of the 2018-2019 State Officer Team. I'm Zachary Sahin, your state president, and tonight we are elated to give you some great information on the upcoming National Leadership Conference. Now to introduce your incredible State Officer Team. First is your Region 1 Vice President, Madison Jones.
Hi.
Next up is your Region 2 Vice President, Brody Mandelbaum, who will be joining us later into the night. Following that is your Region 3 Vice President, Melissaespinosafl, who unfortunately is unable to join us tonight. Next is your Region 4 Vice President, Aditi Mishra.
Hi everyone, I'm Aditi.
Then we have Indu Parameswaran, your State Parliamentarian, who unfortunately is unable to join us tonight. After that is Kenai Gupte, your state reporter.
Good evening, everyone. It's nice to see you all here.
And last, but certainly not least, is Shady Mina, your state secretary.
Good evening, Florida FBLA. Thank you so much for watching our webinar today, and we look forward to serve you throughout the whole year.
In a little over 2 weeks comes our exciting National Leadership Conference in Baltimore. And to help you prepare for the outstanding conference ahead of us, your officers will be covering a day-by-day overview, as well as general competition and networking tips to help you prepare. To get us started, Aditi, take it away.
Hey everyone, I'm Aditi once again, and while most of us fly in on the 27th, the conference officially begins on the 28th, so I'm going to be going over the first day of NLC. So registration itself takes place from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., so it's pretty much the whole day, so don't forget to get yourself registered. And for your advisors and the advisors watching, we have meetings at 7:30, 9 o'clock, 10:30, 11:45, and 4:30 in order for you guys to be oriented. The marketplace is going to be open from 1 to 4 where you guys can get your FBLA merchandise. And around the same time, we're going to be having our Florida meeting, which is for the entire state. So make sure you guys attend. In addition, from 8 to 7 at the same time as registration, we're going to be doing a collection for Lead to Feed, which is our partnership with Maryland Food Bank. We really encourage you guys to bring some non-perishables because we're partnering with them to feed the homeless in the area. So at the conference registration area at the Pratt Street lobby entrance in the convention center, we're going to be collecting these items. And then of course, for the people a part of the Institute for Leaders, it's your guys' last day. So you're going to be having a morning session at 8 a.m. And then following that right after, you're going to be having a base camp breakout. And then your closing session and celebration is going to be around 11:30 a.m. Following that, you guys are just supposed to go into your FBLA events and do what you're supposed to be doing with your chapters. And from 12:15 to 5:30, the people who have competitive events are going to follow into schedule with that as well. From 5 to 5:30, the administrator orientation is going to take place. And then from 7 to 9, we're going to be having our opening session. Please don't forget to be a part of that because it's going to be really fun for all of us. And of course, during that same time, we're going to be having our campaign rally. And then 3 hours after that is curfew at midnight. So going over the second day, we're going to have Kenai Gupte.
All right, so Friday, June 29th is the second day of the NLC, where this will be a majority of the day will be the competitive events. So for all our objective testers and presentation events with preliminary rounds, you're going to make sure to look for this. Make sure to triple check your timing so that you don't miss your competition. You know, nothing's more unfortunate than studying and preparing so hard for this conference and missing your competition. So make sure to check that. That's throughout the day from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. In addition to that, we'll have advisor orientation again from 7:30 to 8:15 a.m. for all our advisors watching and judging and whatnot. And then we'll have workshops from 9 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. So these workshops will be hosted by business professionals from all over the country. So make sure to check them out because I'm sure they'll give you useful information that you can use anywhere. In addition to that, we have our regional campaign rallies and recognition session from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. So make sure to check those out with your respective region. Ours is the Southern region and the recognition session, of course, and curfew is again at midnight.
Thank you, Kenai. And right on time, we have Brody Mandelbaum, your Region 2 Vice President, to cover the third day at the NLC conference. Brody?
So June 30th will be the third day of the conference and an important day for both our members competing and voting for our 2018-2019 National Officer Team. The day will start with an officer forum in the morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. This is an amazing opportunity to learn more about those running for a national position and their platform. Voting delegates should be sure to engage and ask them questions so they make the best choice. Voting and non-voting members alike should visit the candidate campaign booths and talk with them one-on-one to get to know their candidates on a deeper level. Beyond that, there will be a number of opportunities throughout the day for all members. In the morning, there will be open events and a number of topics that all members can compete in. In addition to that, it will be the second day for the competitive events. Make sure to study and leverage the resources available to you so you can be best prepared. Workshops will also be given, so try to attend the workshops throughout the day. They can be a great help in enhancing your business skills. In the afternoon, make sure not to miss the FBLA Bank On It tournament and the senior networking session. FBLA Bank On It is a great event for those interested in finance and accounting or just interested in learning something new. The FBLA Marketplace will also be open, so make sure to stop in and get some FBLA gear. FBLA NLC is a great opportunity to meet new people and try new things, so make sure to make connections and have fun. And again, the curfew is midnight.
Thank you so much, Brody. I know you had to work hard to kind of fit your schedule on to make sure you could be with here tonight. It means a lot.
All right.
Next up, we have Shady Mina to cover the final day of the National Leadership Conference.
So there you are, FBLA. You made it to the final day. So first up, right in the morning at 8 a.m., it's going to be national voting. And that's going to last until 8:45. And then 9 a.m. to 9:45 is the regional voting. So please check with your advisor to see if you're a regional voting delegate, because it will be critical to attend such meeting. And then for middle level, 8:30 to 11:30 will be the finalists for presentation events, elevator speech, and community service project. And then the middle level awards program is going to be from 3 to 4 p.m. Back to 10 a.m. and 11 a.m., that's going to be the March of Dime mini march for babies. After that, it's going to be the moment we've all been waiting for, the Awards of Excellence, which will be from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. After the Awards of Excellence, we have the FBLA Social, which has been a tradition from 9:30 to 11:30, and make sure that you're back on curfew at midnight as well. And that's both for middle level as well.
Thank you all for that essential information. Now, Madison will cover the general attractions and events that you can do in Baltimore and some of the surrounding areas.
Okay, so while y'all are at Nationals, I hope you get the great opportunity to go tour around and see some amazing things. So the first attraction you have in Baltimore to go see is the National Aquarium. And there you can go do things such as the Dolphin Sanctuary, and you can do a behind-the-scenes shark tour. It's a bit pricey to do that. The tickets are around $40 to $50, but they might have group discounts, I'm not sure. And then another cool thing to do while in Baltimore is the Museum of Art, and it's free. Who doesn't like free stuff? And they have a bunch of cool things you can see there and some famous paintings such as some of Picasso's stuff. And then Baltimore is like a very historic place, and they have Fort McHenry. It's a national monument, and it costs about $7 to get in there. And it's where the Battle of Baltimore happened, and it's also where it inspired Francis Scott Key to write the Star Spangled Banner. So you should go check that out. It's a very cool thing to go see. And then also in Baltimore, you can go to the Maryland Zoo, which is the third oldest zoo in all of America. And since you're already so close, you can go to Washington, D.C. It's about an hour out from Maryland. And there's lots of cool things you can go see there, such as the Lincoln Memorial. And they have a bunch of Smithsonians there. And you can go to the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum. There's the Holocaust Museum. There's the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. And they also have a Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture. And they have the Smithsonian National Zoo and Conservation Biology Institute, which is personally my favorite. So I hope y'all take that great opportunity while you're already in Maryland to go tour and see some of these great attractions.
Phenomenal job, Madison. Now to Shady to cover some final competition prep notes for these final weeks before the big event.
Thank you, Zach. So there it is, competition. You want to be ready, right? So first, please carefully review your competition guidelines. The guidelines are the foundation of you succeeding in your competition. Go through it step by step and carefully read each word, as that could be the difference between getting the point or not getting the point. And I encourage you to look at the national guidelines. So be aware of any differences between the state and the national guidelines. Follow the deadlines. I know a lot of prejudged material already has been submitted, but just look into that. If you've not submitted it, well, it's better to submit it now and get the penalty. And if you just don't submit it at all, so please submit it now and get that penalty. And then make sure you don't get any points deducted. So that's why you need to follow the guidelines and see it clearly says if you did not do this, you will get 5 points off. That could be the points between first and second. So make sure to go for that. So again, please look into that guidelines. But what do you do after the guidelines? Review the rating sheet. That's the judge's rubric. That's how you will be graded. So practice using that rating sheet. Give that sheet to your peers, your fellow FBLA members, advisors, because advisors are our mentors. So give them that rating sheet and practice in front of them and let them judge you and get the feedback and make that be the constructive criticism that makes you a better leader and a better presenter or a test taker. Practice in front of your family. I mean, you're with them every day, so make sure to keep practicing and get their advice. That is the valuable advice you can get. And when you're practicing, try to make the condition mimic how it will be at the NLC. So make sure to have your phone away, no distraction. Try to make it as you're taking that test, or if you're presenting that presentation, just as how you'll do it at NLC. So not a lot of presenting. You might use a clicker, so try to use that. That way you're familiar with all the equipment and all the strategies that you will use at NLC. And then make certain that the copies of materials to be submitted to judges are error-free and in the proper format. Please check the national website for that, for the format, and then make sure to review it. Grammar check, go to your advisor, your FBLA member, have a peer check. Make sure that there's any punctuation or grammatical errors. And then find the resources. So look a lot into study materials. We have the FBLA PBL Competitive Event Study Guide, which you can see in the marketplace, but there's a lot of online materials, Quizlet, Test Frenzy. Most importantly, we have textbooks. If you're doing any event, job interview, business communication, entrepreneurship, there are textbooks, marketing, there are textbooks about all these topics, and you don't have to read the whole textbook, but you can get valuable advice from that. And then study guidelines, and that will be from past winners. So a critical thing when you're competing is networking. So I encourage you to contact former and current chapter members who have competed in previous years for suggestion and further advice and tips. They've been in your boat and they've done the same competition you'll do. So make sure to get their help and resources. And I will mention that our phenomenal state officer team, we have compiled since last year and this year we're adding into it a very interactive, comprehensive study material. So I encourage you all to use that. How can you get it? Please reach out to us. All of our contact info will be right below on the information. You can also check the Florida FBLA website. So please contact us and we will be happy to share with you further advice and really valuable material. So what is your goal of preparing? It's that you need to become an expert on your competition. You need to know exactly how you'll be graded and the specific guidelines. Finally, but definitely the most important, it's dress for success. So I encourage you to look at the dress code, especially the Florida FBLA dress code, and make sure you follow that dress code so that you'll be ready for success. And we have a previous webinar about dressing for success. And finally, you are the best of the best. You made it to nationals. No matter how it goes, you win, congratulations. You lose, you learned a lot of lessons, and you love that experience. So keep up the hard work and enjoy your time at the NLC.
Great advice from a great officer. Thank you, Shady. Hey, Kenai, I know that you've been working really, really hard on prepping for your competition. Would you like to take a moment to share what you and your team have been doing to sort of prep for nationals?
So what my team and I have been doing for Management Information Systems, our competition for FBLA, is we've just been going through the rubrics that we got back at pre-NLC and the rubric that we got graded at pre-NLC. We've been dissecting that step by step and looking how we can get the points that we missed and how we can continue getting those points that we earned. And for the testing, again, pre-NLC, such a powerful tool. We were able to go over that states test and, write notes on what we missed, what we got right, so that we can study those topics, as well as going on the competencies listed on the National FBLA website and just going through those, making sure we know everything.
Thank you, Kenai. Before we conclude, one last thing, we'll have each of the officers share one of their favorite things about a former conference. So we'll get started with Aditi.
I guess I'd have to talk about my last conference because, of course, it was the most memorable for me because that's where I got elected as a state officer. So at my just previous state leadership conference, I got elected as the Region 4 Vice President, and in the process of doing that, I got to run an amazing campaign with an amazing campaign team. Doing all of that really helped me network with Florida FBLA, and doing so helped me create amazing connections throughout the entire state, and these are only connections that I hope to keep throughout the entire year.
Thank you, Aditi. Next up, Brody.
So I would say that probably NLC last year was my favorite conference. So I met so many like amazing people and really have a lot of friends I made from there that I've used later on with connections to work on different projects. And I really made a lot of great friends that I still talk to and I keep up with and stuff like that. So I really think it was a great experience. So I definitely say make sure to network and make connections and make friends with a lot of people and attend all the events. Really go for it and go all out on it on your experience. So thanks.
Thank you, Brody. Next up, Kenai.
My favorite memory would probably be from my first conference as a middle schooler. I was in 8th grade, and after winning my competition at the state level, going on stage, shaking the president's hand, it was such an inspiring moment. And it drove me to continue success through this organization, to pursue every opportunity that it gave me.
Thank you, Kenai. Next, Madison.
So my favorite memory or my favorite competition memory was probably about at the last nationals, because I got to meet so many great people from many different states, and I made a lot of new connections, and I learned a lot at the last nationals. And I learned a lot about different competitions, and that actually helped me choose what I competed in this year.
Madison. Shady?
Well, the previous National Leadership Conference was definitely an honor, and getting the first place for job interview, thank God. But I would say the State Leadership Conference, the past two have been really my memory and the basis for FBLA. Seeing the members, networking, and talking to them from across the state truly showed me the potential and the benefit of being a future business leader.
Thank you, Shady. I remember that moment, Shady, when you won. We were all we ran out, all of the officers. We ran out to go greet Shady after he had won, and I actually picked him up. And it was one of my favorite memories. But in terms of trying to choose which conference is the best, there's just too many to pick from. You have the NLCs, which you get to meet people from all around the country, and the same goes for the National Fall Leadership Conferences. It's really the people that you get to meet and the people that you get to talk to and interact with. There's so many outstanding people within this organization that if you just take a moment to talk to a stranger or say hello, you get to see a different perspective on things. You get to interact with those that can teach you different things. And it's not just that. You make friends for a lifetime. One of my friends I met from Louisiana at the St. Louis NFLC, I remember we first started Superman and different Marvel heroes, different DC heroes. We talked about all the comic books, not just one or the other, and we still do it now. And it's nice to interact with those different people and to really get to know everyone. And so to round it off and conclude our webinar tonight, I would like to share with you what, as a team, we feel is one of the greatest aspects of every FBLA conference: networking. At the National Leadership Conference, networking is taken to a whole other level. You're able to meet members from all across the country. There are even international chapters of FBLA in attendance. Some of my closest friends and greatest memories are from these conferences. So take the advantage of the opportunities given to you. Meet new people. Take a risk and say hello to a random stranger. And most importantly, enjoy yourself. Whether you're there for a competition and whether you win or lose, or whether you're just there for the experience and to learn for your chapter, make sure to have fun. I know that all of us attending are going to enjoy ourselves because we get to better know you, the outstanding members that make FBLA such a sensational and successful organization. That's all we have for tonight. We look forward to seeing you at Nationals. Good night, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Bye.